Hello and welcome to the Tom Baker Show. We are back. Wherever you are joining us from or watching us from, we are grateful to have you. I am Tom Baker, and this is my show. This show is being powered by Radical Race Gear. If you want to be a champion, you ought to first look like one. They've got all kinds of gear, from customized pop-up tents to driver gear. They've got the whole 9 yards. Sublimated crew shirts, nobody better at that than Radical Race Gear. RadicalRaceGear.com is their website. Go check it out and turn up the look on for your race team. Okay, we have a special guest joining us off the top. We're going to have a lot of voices and faces in this show as we do kind of an overall legend car theme here. I want to talk some Summer Shootout at Charlotte Motor Speedway that just started this past week. Joining us is Caleb Heady. Caleb is a former legend racer who is still, I think, running some legend car races, but he's his biggest claim to fame so far, and I love this because I'm a huge modified fan, is he was the 2022 Smart Tour Modified Champion, driving for Tommy Baldwin Racing in the infamous 7NY. Just read his hat. Caleb is joining us. Glad to have you. He's now doing some driver coaching on the legend side, so we're going to kind of just get a little bit about your background first, Caleb. Tell us what got you started racing. How old were you? And just kind of walk us through your career to date a little bit.
Yeah, so I honestly think me getting into racing was 100% luck. I started racing when I was 12. I'm first generation. Nobody really ever raced before us. I have some people that drag raced, but I don't really count that as the racing deal. My buddy took me to an indoor go-kart track for his 12th birthday party, and then I got hooked on it, man. I kept wanting to do it, kept wanting to go run rentals, and then, here we are to this day. I ran legend cars for 5 years pretty hard. I won a lot of stuff there, won two Thursday Thunder Pro Championships, a Pro Championship at the Summer Shootout.
Yep.
Pro and Winter Nats, a lot of stuff. So, we've been around with the legend cars, but yeah, we 2022 Smart Modified Tour Champion back there. That's the cool one, man. That's the one that I still think about pretty constantly.
Now, first of all, when you said that some of your family drag race, but you don't count that, my NHRA audience just started throwing things at you at the TV.
Nobody's gonna like me.
It's real racing, folks. Send all hate mail to Caleb Heady at. No, it's I get what you're saying. It wasn't really a part of your background.
Yeah.
So you basically, I think, had the pro year of legend cars was your zenith in that division. It was kind of the apogee, and you won a lot of stuff during that time. And I think, were you running for MPM in that
Yeah.
stage?
Yeah, it was me and Zach Miller running all of it. We ran those 2 years that we ran really hard. We ran 60 races a year, ran right at 120 in 2 years, and we finished at a 46 or 47% win percentage.
Wow.
We won almost 50% of the races we entered, so it was pretty nuts. It was, we were them, we were the people that if we showed up, everybody started scratching their heads, so it was pretty cool.
So typically we go from legend cars to late models. That's kind of how we do things in the South. You went from legend cars to modifieds, which I'm much happier about, but talk about what the circumstances were there, because you didn't just go to modifieds. You went to Tommy Baldwin Racing, that's the team in the Smart Tour.
Yeah, man. I think I got, I don't think, I know I got really lucky and blessed for where I was. I'll say the Summer Shootout is what got me that position. I got to, being able to race in the same place as Tommy's younger sons, kind of forced him to, realize who we were and watch me race. And so, it's kind of easy to get close to those people and kind of, persuade my way into the car. I definitely had to pull some teeth to try to get in it, and I definitely almost got pulled out of it immediately. But we had great 3 years with the Tommy Baldwin crew, and I cherish those for the rest of my life. It's awesome. I'm still, we're still running for Tommy and some different stuff. So, it's always cool.
Well, now I got to go back because you said you almost got pulled out of it. Yeah, we
Oh man.
inquiring minds want to know. I mean, you can't throw
Yeah.
some
So
dirt out there and not elaborate on it.
yeah,
Not on
no,
this
this is a
show.
great story. And it was 100% my fault. So we go out for Caraway. Um, Man, this was 2021. We go out to Caraway on a Friday. We're racing. No, sorry. We go out to Caraway on a Thursday. We're racing on a Saturday, and we're just testing. First time in a modified, and I destroyed it. I
Ooh,
I clipped it in testing, and then I was like, well, if I was Tommy Baldwin, I would just be like, all right, this kid sucks. Like we're done. Kid can't get it in practice. He wrecked it, but he put it back together for me, and then we finished fourth at Caraway, and then the next weekend we won. So, I'm very glad that he didn't do that. But I definitely had like one tiny string hanging me to that team at that point. But the next weekend we reconnected. We were there for good after that.
that wasn't nearly as spicy as I was hoping for. Just so you know.
Oh
I
man,
mean, we
look,
all have
it was
accidents.
spicy in my head. It was spicy up here, man.
I'm sure it was because
18-year-old kid that had just got signed to a good deal, and then I was like, oh no, like it definitely
not
taught me
testing.
the other side of racing.
What happened? Did you
Definitely
just
taught me
lose
the
control, or did something? I mean, because obviously
Yeah, I
it's a
just
car
lost it.
issue, then not your fault.
No,
but-
I was just me. I just wrecked it,
Ugh,
just flat out wrecked it. Yeah,
That's a-
but
that's a
then
tough
and
one.
the next weekend, the weekend after that, we beat Bobby Labonte at Florence. So
that's a good
it
way
worked
to recover.
out, I guess.
Yeah, it's a great way to recover,
guess.
beating Bobby Labonte. The Smart Tour really is. I mean, it's grown so much in the last few years, and you as a young, I feel like it's almost becoming the new black, if you will, like that old phrase,
Yeah.
orange is the new black. It's becoming the new black around here. Like people are figuring out I can go run a modified on the Smart Tour for less money than I can go run a late model like on the Cars Tour. And I can run with people like Bobby Labonte and the rest of the group. I think that's why I see Jamie McMurray's kid running it this year. Like I feel like they've done a great job building that from the driver's point of view. What are your thoughts on the Smart Tour?
Yeah, man, I think it's great. The Smart Tour or the modifieds kind of force you to learn quickly. You kind of get thrown to the wolves, in my opinion, on those things. You have 600 horsepower and no weight and a huge tire, so you gotta learn how to use it pretty quick. And if you don't, you're gonna lose. So I think they're really good for the driver. But the way the Smart Tour itself with Chris Williams and everybody has put it on, and I haven't been around the last year-ish, but throughout my time with it, it's a phenomenal, and it's driver centered. They're not there to obviously they're there to put on a good race and put on a good show, but they're there to show us off, to show the drivers of the Smart Tour off to the fans for us, not for them, not so they can sell t-shirts for us, not so they can do anything, but just so we can get our names out there.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. I don't really see very many places that do that, and also don't take a dime off of it. You know what I mean? Like have no financial gain to stand from it. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, it is, and I love its growth, and it's been some quick growth to the point where this year I feel like it's bigger than it's ever been, and they just put on amazing shows everywhere they go, and they're at the point now where I think they probably have more tracks that would like to have them race there than they have the ability, because the modifieds around here in the Southeast basically take a break over the summer so that Bowman Gray can have modified racing, and they're not kind of competing against each other. So I feel like the tours hit the point where there's more races they could have than what they would want to have because of working with Bowman Gray. So if that were a full year tour, I feel like there could be 8 or 9 more races without a problem. And it's really crazy to think that, because when NASCAR pulled their Southern Wheeling Tour, for a year or two, modified racing in the South was just sort of tipsy. and not really
Yeah.
that prevalent. And Chris and the group with the Smart Tour really built that back up, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's alive and well again for sure.
Yeah.
It almost died. It almost died, but it is alive and breathing
Yep.
and great. It is good.
We're going to step aside for a moment. When we come back, we're going to talk with Caleb about his newest venture, driver coaching, and kind of how he feels about where legend car racing is at this point. Back with more of the show right after this. For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back to the show. We continue with our special guest, Caleb Heady, the 2022 Smart Modified Tour champion and a veteran and winner and champion in legend cars as well, who's kind of going back to his roots a little bit, but in a different way. So it's kind of a thing that I'm seeing more and more of, and I think it's smart. Caleb, you have, you're transitioning from the seat. Not that you don't want to race anymore, but you're transitioning into driver coaching, which allows you another way to stay in the sport and also make money instead of spending it. What a concept. Talk a little bit about what has fueled that transition, and tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, man. So being able to see kind of how I grew, I ran all those years in the legend cars, and then pretty much instantaneous after I got into the modified, I picked it up and figured it out. I know I told a story that shows otherwise, but we did really good, and I got really comfortable with it, and I really gave that to the legend cars. I believe that the legend cars is what kind of forced me to be okay with that bit of uncomfortability. And just get ready and get good and be able to hang on to the modified. And a lot of the kids nowadays get through legend cars and they'll get a year in the legend car or maybe two, and then they'll go ahead and move up. And I don't feel like they have learned all they need to learn. If you sit in the legend cars correctly, if you put your time in it and actually run a couple races or run a couple seasons and learn all the lessons they have to teach you, it'll turn a awful race car driver into the best one you can find.
I agree.
Those things are just impossible to drive. So I think the kids, not only do you need to be in the legend cars for a decent amount of time, a little bit longer than they're tending to keep them nowadays, but you gotta really make it hard on yourself in the legend cars. If you don't make it harder on yourself now, and if you don't learn the hard lessons now, when you get to a big car, you're never going to learn them, and you're just never going to you're not going to fix anything, because the big cars, you can fight through your mistakes. If I'm fundamentally driving my modified wrong, I could drive through it still and make it around the track. But with the legend car, if you're fundamentally driving that legend car wrong, you're not going to make a corner. You're just going to spin out. So the legend cars are an absolute amazing tool for the kids. And seeing, like I said, seeing how I came out of them and got into the modifieds kind of makes me want to prepare the kids in the same way, because not only did it make me look good, but it made U.S. Legend Cars as a whole look good when I came rolling out of it and setting the world on fire. So if we can do that, 15, 20 times a year with kids coming out of Legend Cars, like, not only is that going to be good for them, but that's going to be good for our series and U.S. Legend Cars as a whole, because people are going to see that as the stepping stone as it is. So it's a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Well, it's it's tough too, because I mean, if I'm a parent and I'm, if I'm running with one of the top Legend Car teams now, the typical arrive and drive kind of concept that's so prevalent, I'm spending thousands a race. I mean, then I'm looking at dirt late models and whatever else, and I'm saying, well, for this much more, I can be running a big car. So I think that's one of the things that's led to sort of the drivers not spending as much time in the Legend Car part of it as we would think they should. You and I both kind of come from a coaching mentality, and it's, that we're seeing kids get rushed up the ladder all the time, and then they hit the top, or as much, close to the top, and it's checkers or wreckers. So I definitely see where you're coming from with this. So how does what you're doing kind of help to build that bridge so that they've got the skill set they need to go to the bigger car?
Yeah, man. I'm the main thing that I try to teach is the hands and the feet. Throughout my entire times with the Legend Cars, I would always prided myself on how smooth I was. I feel like those cars are the suspension's not good, so you feel every bump, and they really you feel everything in the Legend Car that's happening. But the best way to be fast in the Legend Car is to slow your hands down, slow your feet down, slow everything down, and be calm, and drive it the way you think you should. It's those are the smooth hands mainly, but the smooth inputs is kind of, in my opinion, 75% of what makes a good big car driver. If you can pull it off the wall smooth and float it down in there and be nice and calm with it, and mentally be nice and easy and chill, and let the still racing as hard as you can. I think that's the best you can be. So just teaching the kids the hands, trying to make sure that the shootout's a really good example of it. It's a flat track. You got to put a lot of wheel in it to get it to rotate, and then the second you hit the gas, you're snapping up loose up off the exit. And everybody does that, even the pros do that. But the fastest way to run that place is to perfectly match your throttle input with your steering input and get it up off the corner at the same time. And that is the exact same fundamental that the modifieds needed, or the late models need. That unwrap and the foot going down at the same time is a very important thing. Just teaching the kids the fundamentals, and then the big part about it too is how to race. Racecraft is kind of one of those things where you have to just continuously throw the stone at the wall and hope it sticks. You know what I mean? You've got to continuously do it. Like at the shootout, we don't have spotters. So all I'm doing is I'm sitting there with a notebook, writing down what we did and what I agree with, what I don't agree with. And then just giving all my notes on, what we can do. But with the Legend Cars, it's really cool because, we have the dashes and the tacks now. So I can go into my driver's car and look at the rate he got on the gas, at what part of the track he got on the gas. I can look at a bunch of stuff. So, I turned into a little like F1 race engineer sitting with my laptop, clickety. But yeah, teaching the kids, the fundamentals of the smoothness and the trying to get them mentally calm, and then the racecraft is a big one. Trying to teach them how to get around people without putting yourself in bad positions too. So the kids, especially the shootout, the kids bunch of wrecks. It's a flat track, as Legend Cars, bunch of wrecks. But you have to kind of realize that if I get in a wreck, even if it's the cars in front of me wrecking and I pile into it every week, I'm the common denominator. I'm getting in the wreck, so there's something I can do differently. It's just kind of teaching the kids the cause and effects of everything. as a driver and as even when I was a kid, I would, hard headed have something happen and it was just like, oh, I want to be mad at him. But just teaching them the correct cause and effect and the correct way to do everything is it's really fulfilling.
Yeah, and I think that's how you create the racecraft. Even I understand where you're coming from when you say, it's throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks, but it's also a process of learning and developing through some sort of, okay, I'm getting beat here. What do I do differently? And then the next problem and the next, it's really just problem solving in a way. But there's a lot of variables, right? And and so you mentioned, if you're the guy always getting into the wreck, and boy, I've watched drivers over the years that they're always the last ones in. Like the wreck happens and 6 seconds later they're into it. It's like you had all that time to go around it, and so that's, like you said, that's something you've got to fix in your own technique, in your own programming. And it's science, and it's fun to be able to work with a driver and see that driver get better and grow. And so tell us about kind of who are you working with now, and what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, man. So this year for the shootout right now, I'm working with Dominic Chisholm. We finished third in the semi-pro for the first round with all the rain fighting it. We only got one race in 2 days. Great. But we finished third in semi-pro. I really think that kid's going to be a really bad problem for everybody on the track. I think Dominic is at the point right now where he's kind of helped himself for a while. And he's gotten to the point where, he's a top 5 car at the shootout, and definitely one of those cars that you got to pay attention to. But I'm the type of person that I want to make everybody sad that we're at the track. You know what I mean? I want to show up and everybody start packing up because they know we're going to win. So we're getting him tuned up, and it's really, like I said, it's really just that racecraft and having to, showing him, well, we did this, and then this is what could happen, or this is what is going to happen, and kind of explaining, how we put ourselves in positions to win races or lose races. One of the big things and one of the good examples I can give you at the shootout is, when we have those single file restarts, everybody drives it off into one, and they drive as deep as they can into the corner because they don't want to get hit. Right. And then all of a sudden you're coming off a 2 and you can't get off a 2. And all of a sudden now you got the guy behind you on your butt going down the backstretch, and they tuck in, they drive low to try to block. But if I do that, and if I'm behind a car blocking me low at the shootout, I'm just going to follow him in there and push him out of the way because he has such a sharper turn angle now, and he's not going to be able to make it. So just teaching him, like ideally blocking that run would make sense, except here. Like you cannot do that here, because here might as well hit the brakes and try to turn underneath of them and get them back out of the way again. So, the shootout is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A very unique beast.
Yeah, it is.
There isn't a very many different ways you can use what you learn at the shootout, but the mental grit and the mental toughness that you have to have at the shootout is great. That's it's very, very much necessary in my opinion.
I just think the shootout requires a level of wisdom that racing a legend car on a bigger track doesn't. I mean, for those who don't know, shootouts run on a quarter mile, and it's basically part of the front stretch at Charlotte, and it goes into the pit lane and then back out. And there are those types of tracks at other big tracks as well, sort of the inner quarter mile type track. And when you're running the shootout, there's 24 cars or whatever they start. I mean, nobody really gets away. Unless you're out front and you can get some space, you're running right. And it shouldn't be a contact sport, but a lot of times it is. And I think that's, a big part of that is because you're trying to figure out the fastest way around, but in reality it's hug the white line. That's on the bottom. Yeah. That's really where you got to run there. So it's just hard to pass without moving somebody.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of men fighting over one singular painted line. Yeah. That's all it's ever been. a whole bunch of grown men fighting over I want to be on the line. I want to be on the line. So it makes good racing, man. It makes it fun. So.
It is certainly exciting, but like you say, in a lot of cases, it's not transferable, because if you're following NASCAR path, you start racing on bigger tracks. Not a good idea to be using the bumper and doing some of the things you would do at the shootout, but that's kind of what they do, right? They carry that up the ladder, and it creates problems for them later. So being able to discern, and figure out as much as possible how to not have to hit people to pass, and learn, okay, I got to position myself to pass them coming off and race them down the straightaway. That could be a very valuable lesson for going forward.
Yeah. One thing that I really do focus on is not when we're trying to move somebody out of the way, but when we're trying to get moved out of the way, that mental fortress, don't let them rattle anything. Just stand on the brake, come off the corner, and don't think about them going into the next one. The most short-term memory loss that you can. It's going to happen, and he's not trying to wreck you or hit you out of the way, or he's trying to hit you out of the way, but he's not trying to. We're not being mean. We're just racing at the shootout. Right. And I really think me being able to take a big hit and then throw it out the back window and be like, okay, whatever, got another corner, kind of helped me in the modifieds. In the modifieds, especially in the South, those guys like to roll into the corner, use less brake, and then just roll into the back of you, slow you down. And I genuinely think if I wasn't so used to being ran into at the shootout all the time, I would have been in a lot of altercations with people rolling up to the back of me in the center of the corners and checking them out for me. So the shootout, you got to figure out how to move each other, but you got to learn how to, short-term memory loss is a big thing there.
So last question for you. How do you, I guess a two-parter, how do you see Legend Car Racing? What do you feel like? Where are we at today? And do you need more clients, or what are you trying to do? How do people get a hold of you if they want your help? That sort of thing.
Yeah, man. I still think Legend Cars is the best building block you can give yourself, whether it be a young kid that's just getting into it, or a late model driver that's been running for 30 years and wants a challenge or needs to learn something new. I think Legend Cars are phenomenal building stones and learning tools for the drivers. They don't drive good. They're not fast. They don't turn good. They don't stop very well. They're not aerodynamic. But everybody has that same problem. So that's what makes them good racing cars and good tools for the drivers to learn from. The Legend Cars are kind of weird nowadays. From when, new names and new faces from when I raced. But that's really the only difference that I've seen. The grit and the heart of Legend Car Racing is still there. Everybody's still happy to be at the shootout because we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway and it's in June and we're at the shootout, baby. No other questions asked but that. We're there. That's all we care about. So that's still alive. And I think that's a very, very big part of Legend Cars is that family and heart. With the classes with the modifieds, people growing up out of the Smart Tour, you don't really keep tabs on them as much as you do in the Legend Cars because you feel like you grew up together and your family. Going back to the shootout, seeing all my friends that are now either in truck or in ARCA or working for big cup teams or anybody. It's like a family reunion every time you go to the Legend Car track. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Again, I think they're great tools for the Legend Car, or great tools for the drivers to learn, everything you need to, and nothing that is unnecessary for the big cars. They're phenomenal tools, and it's like a study booklet in school. It is the best thing you can do for yourself if you want to go racing.
How do people reach you?
Yeah, man. On Instagram, it's just Caleb Heady on Instagram. I go through all there. I'm still living back home in Louisville, but I'm on the road a bunch. I'm planning on being at all the shootout races, a lot of the Thursday Thunder races. I do tons and tons of road course racing. That's secretly where my heart is on the road course. Secretly, don't tell anybody. But yeah, just reach out to me. I'm pretty easy to work with. As you can tell, I'm a kid who just loves racing. So if you ask me to go halfway across the country, I am more than likely in. As long as there's racing involved, I'm going to go. So yeah, just Caleb Heady on Instagram. I do any ages. I've coached 12-year-olds first time in Legend Cars, and I've coached 30, 40-year-old men, on iRacing, helping them out. So, just I'm good for whatever. But yeah, just reach out. Caleb Heady on Instagram. Let me know where we can, get you some speed, get you up there down, in first down the track from everybody else.
Thanks for coming on, Caleb. Had a great time with you and look forward to keeping in touch as you move forward and build that coaching business. You're good at what you do. We appreciate you taking the time. That is Caleb Heady, and we'll be back with more right after this.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
Welcome back to the show. This is literally the shootout round. We're going to get some interviews in. The first one, though, is going to be from Millbridge last night, where Levi Ballard, on his 11th birthday, got his first restricted win in his last time racing in the class. Here he is.
At Millbridge Speedway with a young man who's celebrating on this very day his 11th birthday, and he's celebrating his first ever victory at Millbridge Speedway in his last restricted micro start. His name is Levi Ballard. They call him the Beef Stick. Why do they call you Beef Stick?
Because I used to eat 3 beef sticks every night.
Oh, okay. So talk a little bit about that win. That was a brilliant race you drove. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I got a good, we called the first start back. The second start was good, and I was able to get out by little ways and just take home the victory.
What's it mean to you to finally win at Millbridge Speedway?
A lot.
Where are you from?
Grimes, Iowa.
And you've been here several times, but you run all over the country. What's it like traveling around at 11 years old and running micro sprint races and outlaw kart races?
Yeah, we're always busy. We're like in Oklahoma, North Carolina, and like everywhere basically.
Yeah, it's quite a busy schedule for you. I know you can't do it all by yourself, Levi. Who helps you make it happen?
My mom and my dad.
The Beef Stick goes to victory lane at Millbridge. Levi Ballard gets the win.
And we now go to the Summer Shootout. Rounds 1 and 2. Round 2 not completed. Will be finished this coming week along with round 3. But from round 1, we got several. Here is young Austin Seaburn, a Canadian racer, making his shootout debut in the Bandolero.
In the pits at the Summer Shootout, our first official SWN interview of the Summer Shootout this year. And it has gone international. We have Austin Seaburn with us. He is part of Caleb Heady Racing's group, running a Bandolero, and he is from Canada. So, Austin, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 13.
13, and how long have you been racing?
Around 2 years now. I started in flat track.
Stand still, Austin. You're making the audience seasick. So, you've been running for about 2 years. So, what got you interested?
My brother raced, my dad raced once upon a time in Hot Wheels, and watching old Jeff Gordon clips just got me interested in asphalt and dirt racing in general.
I like it. So, are you running both asphalt and dirt?
Yes, sir. I'm running a Sportsman, which is like a 602 with a modified body, and one of these bandos, and hopefully in a modified soon.
Okay, and so which do you like better, the Sportsman or the Bandolero?
I like dirt more. I've had more time in there, mostly, and yeah, dirt.
So you're still learning, and what brings you here to the shootout?
First of all, my mom and my dad. This is Charlotte. We wanted to be here. We go to North Carolina all the time, so we said, why not? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are you planning on running the entire 10-race shootout, or just part-time?
Just the first and second round, really, and then we got to go back home to Canada and race on Ontario.
Okay, now where do you race in Ontario?
Peterborough,
okay,
Sauble, Sunset, all those places, really.
And how have you been doing in the Sportsman this year?
Right now, we have just tested out. That's all we've been doing. Right now with Pete Davidson, yeah.
Okay, and so you haven't actually raced it yet?
Not yet, soon.
Okay, so are you going to be able to race during this year? Are you old enough to race it, or do you need to wait?
No,
okay.
I just want my parents, comfortability, really.
Gotcha. Okay, so you talked about watching old Jeff Gordon clips. So Jeff obviously has been retired a while. Who is your current favorite Cup driver?
I would either say Danny Hamlin or William Byron.
Okay, well, both top racers, of course. And so what is you say you like dirt better. What is your goal in the sport? Are you wanting to be a dirt racer or a NASCAR racer?
I want to be a NASCAR stock racer. That's really where I want to be at the end. And dirt, I want to probably stop at like a late model, probably level.
Okay, well, you can actually make a pretty decent living just from racing those. So you got a couple different choices. That's cool. So I know you can't do all this by yourself. So who do you want to thank?
I want to thank Welch Chev. I want to thank Home Risley. And thank you to all of them, Zavcor, Northern Corvette. That's all my sponsors, and thank you for them.
And all the help with Caleb Heady Racing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we are glad to have you here at the Summer Shootout. We hope that tomorrow night goes well for you, so maybe you'll come back over and run some more before it's done.
Yes, sir.
Austin Seaburn.
Chase Bergeson came across the country from California and picked up semi-pro round 1 win.
At Charlotte Motor Speedway in Victory Lane, semi-pro round 1 feature winner Chase Bergeson out of California. You've come a long way to race here. Is this your first time in shootout?
Yeah, this is my first ever shootout round, first ever time racing at Charlotte, and we came out on top. I'm so excited to say that I actually ended up on top for my first time racing in Charlotte for the shootout. I mean, not a lot of people can say they did that, and it takes people years and years to get to victory lane here. And I'm super proud to end up, here where the Cup drivers are, where Ross Chastain just was to the Coke 600. It's super cool and awesome to be here, and I'm super proud of all the work that me and my team have put in, all my sponsors this last few months. We went from hardly competing anywhere, or just struggling a lot, to being good anywhere we went now. So I mean, it's just a super surprising outcome for our entire team to come all the way out here and end up on top finally in the Summer Shootout, especially in round 1. I mean, if you told me that last year, I'd be like, you're crazy. I'm not going to win the first round of shootout, and obviously we ended up doing that. So I'm super stoked.
Who helps you make it all happen?
Darren Abaddon, Jimmy Sloan, my uncle Brian over there, Brian Bergeson, my dad Kevin Bergeson, my mom Dana Bergeson, and all my amazing sponsors: Bergeson's, Toyota Redlands, Oak Ridge Energy, OGO, iBox Springs, St. Moore Insurance, Pro Pipe and Sly, and Elite Car Stereo.
That's Chase Bergeson. He's a Cars Tour West racer when he's not running the Legends. Late model East Coast aspirations for 2026.
Thank you.
And finally, Keelan Harvick, second place behind Jake Ballman in Pro Division round 1. Here's Keelan.
Keelan Harvick finishes on the podium for round one of the Summer Shootout. Now, I want to talk to you about two things, Keelan. First, let's talk about this race you just ran. Really close finish and a good race all the way through.
Yes, sir, yeah. We fell back to 8th, didn't qualify the greatest, that was on me, but yeah, I just can't take the control around guys. They put a really fast car together and just got to execute.
So what was that like to come up through the field? You were in contention for the win and it got pretty busy there the last couple laps.
Yes, sir, yeah, I just chose the right lane and got a hole and I got down and just can't thank everybody enough.
Okay, so now inquiring minds want to know because just here a short time ago, you went out to California and ran a late model race against your dad. You swore you were going to beat him, and you did. What did that feel like?
Oh, it felt really good. It's just bragging rights, but yeah.
So what's the difference between the Legend and the late model in terms of driving?
You just can't hit the brake as hard in the Legend car, and just a totally different driving style. You have to be a lot smoother in the late model.
Okay, so who helped you make all this happen, Keelan?
Joe Ryan, Hot Brothers Pizza, Road Street, iRacing, Panini, I mean everybody who helps me with this. It wouldn't be possible without them, but I just couldn't be thankful enough.
Okay, Keelan Harvick is somebody we're going to be hearing a lot more from over the next several weeks here from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
The Cookout Summer Shootout continues for about the next 7 weeks or so, and you can catch all of the action live on Flow Racing if you can't get out to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Practice on Monday nights, racing on Tuesday nights, except for this coming week where we'll be making up round 2 features on Monday. And, of course, MillbridgeSpeedway.com is their website, and all their action is on Dirt Vision. Make sure you don't miss that. It's the midweek throwdown to the place to be here in the Charlotte area. So you can catch all of that as well. A lot of tracks opening up this coming weekend, if they haven't already, in the Northeast. Oswego Speedway getting their start this coming Saturday. So we'll try to have some stuff from them on future shows. And looking forward to next week's show, we're going to dip into the road racing arena just a little bit. So I'm excited about that as well. Okay, that'll wrap it up for this week's show. For more exclusive content, steeringwheelnation.com, or catch us on Facebook or Instagram. It's at The Wheel Nation. And you can also catch me personally if you'd like to connect with me at Tom Baker TV on Instagram, and also at Tom Baker TV on LinkedIn. And don't forget, right on PowerTube TV's platform is our Steering Wheel Nation streaming channel. Just go to watchpowertubetv.com and then hit the watch button and go to podcasts and then find Steering Wheel Nation. You will find our show episodes streaming 24/7, 365. We are big fans of the streaming channel, and we're going to be doing more with that as we go forward here on the Tom Baker Show and through Steering Wheel Nation as well. So until next time, I'm Tom Baker. Thanks for listening. So long.